All right, guys, in this episode, Frank Proctor is going to show us his version of shake and bake.
What's up, shooters? Frank Proctor with Way of the Gun Performance Shooting. Right now, let's shoot the shake and bake some, and then we'll talk about it afterwards, and we'll shoot it again. Good, here we go. All right, let's talk about what we're getting out of that thing, right? So, it's a compound exercise, meaning that we can get a lot out of it. Just a few caveats I need to throw out there. These plastic barrels are not covered, okay? That steel target is not shooting back at us, and if it was, these wouldn't stop it, okay? I have a bit of a pet peeve with that. A lot of times folks train on the range to handicap their ability to shoot well just to hide behind stuff. When it's time to get small, getting small will make sense, and you'll do that, okay? So, not cover, it's an obstacle for us to move around in a vision barrier. All right, now let's talk about the skill set stuff we're gonna get out of this. I'll use this as a tool as well in courses for gun handling habits. You guys have heard the term muscle memory before. Let's give another phrase to that, habits. Okay, habits are powerful. Habits are things that you just do without thinking about. All right, you develop habits, okay? Safe gun handling habits, I think, are imperative. When we shoot this thing in courses, we'll do it in dry fire, and I'll have shooters pair up with shooters and observers. The observers need to be looking at the gun handling skills. Right? We live by two extremely easy to follow gun handling rules. The pointy end of the death machine stays in a safe direction all the time, okay? Nothing out there that doesn't need a gun pointed at it, so we're good there. The other one is if we are not connected to sights, the trigger finger needs to be connected to the frame of the pistol, in this case, or rifle, with positive pressure, not just floating outside the trigger guard. Now, when we start shooting this thing live at speed for performance, what we'll start seeing is our habits show up, because shooters can dry fire this thing. Okay, we're making that movement in between positions too, right? They can dry fire it and consciously pull that finger out of the trigger and back to the frame, whatever, at that kind of pace. When the pressure hits, and they're trying to do it at performance speed, if we have a bad habit, like leaving the finger floating outside the trigger guard, or just, or leaving it in the trigger, it'll show up, okay? As shooters, I think most folks I train with have been on board with this, and I hope most of you out there are. If you become aware that you have a bad habit, we should be the kind of person that's like, ooh, I didn't know I was doing that. I'm gonna put some deliberate effort into not doing that, okay? So ways you can get that deliberate effort as a shooter: when the gun starts coming back away from your eyes, aggressively push that finger out there to the frame and feel that thing press into something on the pistol, okay? And then we're gonna start retracting the pistol back. Now, other work we get out of this thing, start with on the movement. If we're moving to shoot, I think we need to cover the ground the most effective way possible, okay? If we only need to cover about 3 feet here, we're gonna start perpendicular to the ground, all right? And end up in a similar position, with the gun a little bit off this barrel. Now, I know we could lean, the longer shooters can lean around this. If you do that, you're not gonna get the work that's there for you. Okay? You can get movement work in here, you can get weapons manipulation work, retracting that gun around something, keeping good safe muzzle awareness, keeping the gun right below your line of sight. Whatever you're gonna shoot is gonna be in front of your dominant eye. The closer you can keep the gun to that during movement with the kind of orientation your sights need to shoot, the better off you're gonna be when it's time to shoot, okay? Talked about the trigger, getting the trigger back out of the frame there aggressively. Why is that critical, okay? Moving around this obstacle here, okay, there's potential for that to drive your finger back into the trigger guard and have an AD. We don't want that. And there's another thing that can cause an AD. Putting pistols in holsters. Holsters are where people have problems with pistols. And the holster itself doesn't cause the problem. It's that dude, okay? It's having a bad habit of leaving your finger outside of the trigger guard or in the trigger. If you put the pistol back in the holster with that kind of bad habit, that holster can drive that finger back into the trigger, and it's gonna be a very sad-faced day for you. Okay? So it's just a way to evaluate some gun handling skills and get a lot of good work. We got mechanics, we got movement, we got gun handling, processing speed. We got to see that thing fast, get our eyes out there and see what we need to see to make the shot happen, and let it do. That's what we got for right now. Y'all have a good one. Let's shoot again. Here we go.
Trigger Time TV is brought to you by Crossbreed Holsters, Troy Industries, Troy Defense, Streamlight, Bravo Company USA, Nemo Arms, Lucid Optics, Drago Gear, Trigger Tech, Primary Weapon Systems, EOTech, Mayflower Research and Consulting, closed captioning provided by Wiley X, and Trigger Time TV ammunition provided by Summit Ammunition.
We would like to dedicate today's show to the men and women of the United States military and law enforcement, the people that stand in the gap and keep our country free. God bless America.